yield farming human beings. What is going on, guys? So if you've watched the movie The Matrix, you understand that there's humans in a pod and they're being extracted of their energy. They're being extracted of their life force. They're being extracted of the resources, the energy within them for the Matrix. And this is yield farming of human beings. And people might say, oh, AI is going to come and get us and AI is going to take us out. And I would posit that it's already here. We have robots everywhere. If you've ever walked around the street and just saw people doing this, if you've ever been to a family function, people getting hit by cars, right? They can't even look up from their phone and walk across the street. Or you've been to a family function, you've seen someone under 20 years old, because I saw this starting 10 years ago, and you have little cousins or something, or nieces and nephews who are sitting there just gaming the whole time and can't even be bothered with the family and what's going on. I would posit that is a force of robots and aliens out in the world, or not aliens, but robots and AI and drones. And we've had it for a long time, 2 decades almost, we'll call it, for a long, long time. As video games got better, as handheld devices got better, this has been a problem in society. However, this is not the underlying problem, right? That's a symptom. The underlying problem is the destruction of the family, destruction of fathers and fatherhood. And as Andrew Tate said, the one thing that gets confirmed in prison, as he just got out of prison, I don't know if he's going back or what it was, but he said everything you think about life is true, and especially when it comes to fatherless homes and having homes that are broken. And again, people can say, well, there's married couples that are hetero and they're totally messed up, and I know other people that aren't like, it's like, guys, we know. The problem is you're putting the odds against you. Like God gives us free will. God gives us the free will to do anything you want. And he tells us the best way to do something is X, Y, and Z. Now, we can choose whatever we want to do. And it's not to say that it's not going to work out. It's just you're putting the odds ever not in your favor. That is the crux. That's the nature's law. That's the subjective truth, accepting and submitting then to truth. That's what we're talking about here. And that's what people, unfortunately, have really started to miss. So when not to go down this tangent too much, but when you have yield farming of human beings, we have this now. And it's called bonds, the bond market, bondage. The root word of bondage is bond. And the bond market itself, in the Social Security number we have, which is unbelievably scary when you're a day old, literally. And I've had 4 children and a day old, and I just felt so gross. And I've been trying to figure out a way around it somehow, but unfortunately I haven't thought of anything yet. So if anyone knows, let me know. But then they're saying, hey, here's your Social Security number. Hey, here's what's their name. We got to sign up for this, and they got to get your Social Security. Like, it's just like some normal thing. And it's normal because good people don't stand up and change things. It's normal because we've just sedated ourselves and numbed ourselves to what is going on. No one steps back and asks, like, why in the F do I have a Social Security number? Why am I a number? Why am I a number to the government? Why does the government even need that? And you get all kinds of answers. You get all kinds of responses. And you might even be kind of just, whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because it's all we've ever known. So something that comes and breaks your paradigm or breaks your brain or breaks your context really messes with you. And that's where you start getting into cognitive dissonance. When you're trying to, prove or fight your existing reality and fight the new information you're hearing. So bonds are bondage. Plain and simple. That's what they are, right? It's a contract, a guaranteed contract to tax you in the future. So someone gives $100, gets a bond in return, gives the $100 to the government goes and spends it, does whatever they want. Ponzi schemes, more kinds of garbage, sends it to Afghanistan, sends it to Ukraine, gender reassignment surgeries, does all kinds of stuff, right? Sends it to anything they deem appropriate. Then they have to give you the $100 plus whatever, 110 back, right? Or 10 in interest. So 100 principal, 10 in interest in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever it is. They have to get that from somewhere. Where are they getting the money, the cash they spent? Where are they getting that 100 from? And where are they getting the extra 10 from? That's what I want to know. If someone has an answer, please let me know. If you know, please let me know. Because they don't provide anything, right? The government is a governmental public entity. It's not a private organization looking for profit. So what is the government doing to pay you back? And there's only 2 ways. It's they directly tax you, or they print more of it to pay back existing debts, which that in itself, right, would be a Ponzi scheme. And they have you pay through inflation. So as we know, inflation is a monetary phenomenon anywhere and everywhere. I believe it was Milton Friedman. It wasn't Hayek. I don't think it was Friedman that said that. And it's true. Currency expansion is inflation. Rising prices, logistics, all these things people say, in the job market, those are all symptoms. Those are all ways you can tell that there's issues in the market. But the true source of inflation is government printing of currency and or the fractional reserve system. This is all enabled by the government, Treasury, and Federal Reserve. So this system in commercial banks. But the problem, again, the crux of this is when you are buying a bond, or if you're China or Russia and you want to enslave another person's population, another country's population, you buy a ton of their bonds. So what has China been doing? They've been saying, hey, we're guaranteeing the American workers going to be so numbed to what's going on and so distracted with their job because they have to go now pay taxes through their Social Security number, because Social Security number is basically a contract for debt, because we're in an inflationary system and it's a contract for debt. So this Social Security number, whatever it is, whatever yours is, that is locked into this debt going forward. You go to the usadebtclock.org or whatever, and it says debt per citizen or debt per taxpayer. Well, there you go. There's your Social Security number basically tied right to debt. And this is you guaranteeing your enslavement. So you have to get off this hamster wheel somehow. How do you do those things, right? If you don't like that system, then you need a new system. Again, this is why I advocate for Bitcoin, because it's a completely new system built on equity, not on debt. It's built on positivity, not on negativity. It's a world built on deflation, not inflation. It's a world built on rising standards of living and lower costs, instead of the fiat world, which is lower standard of livings and higher costs. What is it you want to choose? This is literally math. It's just purely math at this point. We talked about in a previous video and other videos, obviously mining, how that's going to completely change the world, helping conserve the environment and helping to clean things up, right? Not climate, not that stuff's garbage, but conserve the environment. We talk about being a conservationist, not an environmentalist, but someone who takes care of the land and leaves it better than they found it. That's just a good ethos, a good practice, right? As a hunter, as a fisherman, as a gatherer. And this is, again, why we talk about being out of the system. Not saying I'm not a part of this. I'm doing everything I can to remove my energy from this existing network and not giving any more time and energy to it. I want to build this new system. I want to educate people in this new system. I want to go to this new system. This is not a big or a small task. This is a big ordeal. And this is a change that is coming with technology, resources, the way everything is moving, the collapse of the dollar system, you name it. Everything is literally going to a Bitcoin standard, and yet very few people see it yet. And I liken it to the Titanic sinking, and most people thought it was unsinkable, just like the dollar is unsinkable, America's unsinkable. It's not going down. The ship struck the iceberg, and very few people, if any, knew. And those that were smart knew right away, and they started getting in lifeboats. They started getting prepared, getting their stuff, and they jumped in the lifeboats. And they're like, "I'm out of here." And then, half an hour later, it's starting to go down now. And people are like, "No, it's not going down. Are you kidding me? It's unsinkable. You're crazy." And then they're looking at people in the life raft, in the Bitcoin life raft, and they're like, "Hey, look at that. Look at that sea of volatility out there. Look at it. It's crazy. You're in that Bitcoin life raft? Get out of here. Come back to the boat. You guys are morons. Good luck in that volatile sea." While when you back away from the ship, from the Titanic, the fiat legacy monetary system, you can see very clearly, oh my goodness, this entire thing is going down. It just takes a while. It doesn't collapse overnight. It doesn't sink in 10 seconds. It takes hours. It takes days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries sometimes to collapse. But the big thing is, again, people say, well, why would I want to get out now, Brandon? Why would you want to make more dollars? Why would I want to make more dollars in a crashing, crumbling system? The more we pull money out of the network, then we give the dollar less value, which is what people are doing every day. They're selling their dollar for other assets. So they're telling me, again, people are like, oh, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. Yet they are all the time going and selling their dollars, going short dollars to buy other assets because they don't believe in the dollar. They're trying to hedge for inflation. So their actions say one thing, yet they're telling me another thing. Again, if that doesn't make sense, please put a question in here. I can piece this video out because I jumped to a couple different concepts. If this doesn't make sense, any of this, please, again, put questions in here. I can piece this video out one point at a time. But it's so important to understand this. And coming full circle, the bond market is literally enslavement. It's immoral. You're literally guaranteeing your own taxation and inflationary environment for yourself, for your kids, grandkids, and your posterity. It's insane. And that's why we talk about all life is psychological. Money is psychological. Everything, politics is psychological. Relationships, it's all psychological. And we've created this world where we just accept it. Where if 5% of people, 10% of people woke up tomorrow and said, I'm not accepting this fiat system, this dollar system, it'd be gone. Now, the same thing would happen to Bitcoin, right? Everything is like that. Intrinsic value is subjective. However, the properties of Bitcoin have now, with the people that are paying attention, the first people into the Bitcoin life rafts have realized, oh my gosh, and I know a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I will never sell, even if Bitcoin hit zero, which it can't, right? Because this is the whole point. I would never sell, because the properties, the network, and what it is are infinitely stronger than the dollar or the fiat system could ever be. And that's where the aha moment comes in with Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, obviously billionaires from 2020, and they called each other and said, whoa, the hodlers, the people holding on for dear life, 80% of them never even sold through the bear market. Like, we need to look into this. There's something going on here. And when they understood what was actually happening, the people that with that kind of conviction, there's no one with that kind of conviction in fiat. There's nobody that cares about dollars. They're like, oh, I'm saving dollars for 1,000 years. No, but there's Bitcoiners like that, because it's the hardest asset and the hardest money to ever exist. But the dollar is worthless. So why would you ever hold it? It's a liability you think is an asset. So no one's ever going to hold it long term. They're going to sell it off. They're going to pay down debt. They're going to do whatever they can to get out of the dollar and try to steady the ship somehow and try to bail out the sinking Titanic. But it's not going to work, because it's already struck the iceberg. And it's just a matter of time. All fiat currencies go to zero, historically, 100%. So please let me know if this made sense. Please share this out. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. I really do. This is freedom advice, not financial advice. Trust but verify. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. And again, the algorithm hates truth. So please, 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 please share this out. I'm still sweating for my workout, trying to put in the work. Let's get after it. Bitcoin, a little bit of gold and silver, some food storage, water, energy, seeds, gardening, tools, security, ammo, firearms, land, and community. Building community. We need to build this new world we want to be in. Be the change you want to see. It's not a cliche. Not a cliche. It starts with one. I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one.